Another G-Fest is in the books. Yes. You know what? I hate to see it go. I really do. One of the best experiences I've ever had going to G-Fest. So much to talk about, so much to cover. So without further ado, let's get started right now. What's going on, people? LP2000 right back at you with another video. Yes, welcome back to Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. On behalf of Summer Kaiju, and I'm your host, the one and the only Leslie P. Chambers. And today we're here to talk about my G-Fest 26, 2019 experience. Yes. Oh my God, such a wonderful time that we had at G-Fest just last week. It was an amazing time. And during the course of this video, I will talk about my experiences there, what I did there, the people that I talked to and came across. Once again, as I mentioned earlier in the intro, this is one of the best experiences I ever had going to G-Fest. And like I said, we're going to talk about what I did there and everything in between. And to help me out, I have my gigantic friends right here to kind of like have my own little G-Fest thing going on, you know, Godzilla, Gamma, because they both start with G. Well, you already know what's going on. But yes, once again, I had a great time at G-Fest. It was an amazing time. Just so many words, so many things to talk about, you know. So let's dive head first into my discussion involving what I did at G-Fest this year. First and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all my subscribers and my supporters. Because while I was there at G-Fest this year, I had so many people come up to me and, you know, and thank me for the channel and thank me for my contributions and stuff like that. And to get that kind of admiration, which I wasn't expecting, honestly. But to get that from so many random people that appreciate what I've done, you know, as a matter of fact, it's what we've done, because this channel was built by so many different people. You know, I didn't do this alone. It was a collective effort by you, the subscribers, my supporters, as well as great people that I have collabed with, you know, like Godzilla 851, Brutezilla, Richard Eso, Steve Herron, David Aradocco, Super Ghidorah, John Ruffin, Jeremy Souls, just so many different people that has contributed to the channel to bring it to where it is today. So once again, it's been a giant collective effort, along with my beautiful wife and my biggest supporter, Sandra. Thank you very much. My beautiful kids, my family. So through it all, everybody who has watched my videos, shared them, contributed, participated, collab with, all y'all the reason why the channel is where it is today, and which is why, you know, I got that much admiration while I was there at the show. So once again, thank y'all so much for my support system. Thank you for everything that you have done, you know, because that really means a lot to me. Once again, I didn't do this by myself. I have y'all to thank. I have everybody to thank. And once again, this was a giant collective effort. And I think I can honestly say that it has really paid off, and it's paid off for the better. So I want to get that out the way. Thank you very much. But first and foremost, you know, G-Fest happened, it was a week and a half ago. It was the 12th and the 13th and the 14th of July 2019. And myself, my wife, and two of our daughters and our grandson made the trip up to a G-Fest this year. Last year we drove, ain't doing that again for obvious reasons. So we decided to fly this year. So we woke up early that morning, and as soon as we got to the airport, we got the glorious news. We got the glorious news from X Plus that we finally saw pictures of the painted upcoming gigantic series Godzilla 2019 based off his appearance in the most recent Godzilla film, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, mind you, the only time that we have seen this figure was unpainted prototype pictures at the Summer Winter Festival show. No, my fault. The Winter Wonder Festival show early this year. And so ever since then, you know, we've been clamoring to see what it's going to look like painted, what the rig option is going to be. So we've been clamoring to get some kind of information, you know, about that figure. And on the day of G-Fest, the first day of G-Fest, pictures started popping up online on what the figure actually looked like painted, you know. And not too long after that, pre-order started popping up for the figure. At the time of this recording, it is July 24th. We still don't know what the rig option of this figure is going to be. But Summer Winter Festival 2019 is coming up in just a few days at the time it's recording in Japan. And hopefully we'll see there what the gigantic 2019 rig option will be and what the figure will look like, you know, the rig version. But as of right now, only the standards are available for pre-order. And as soon as that thing came up for pre-order, I got one, you know what I'm saying? And it's not for me, it's for Sandra. So just to let y'all know, when I do the review of that figure, Sandra will be there with me, and I also will have my gigantic series Shin Godzilla to compare the two most recent incarnations of Godzilla in the gigantic series form, courtesy of X Plus. And I'm thinking that's going to be a great review, a very fun review. So be on the lookout for that, because the figure is due to drop in November of this year. Hopefully it won't have any delays or anything like that, but it's due to drop in November. Kind of timely, since November is Godzilla's birthday. 65 years, can you believe it? 65 years that this guy has been around. And that's why we celebrate him, you know, through his movies, through like blogs, through YouTube channels, through posts, through pictures, and of course through G-Fest. So once again, woke up that morning, first day of G-Fest before we got to Chicago, and pictures started popping up of the gigantic 2019, and that was a great sign to start off the weekend. Flew to Chicago, left like around 11:30 that day, that morning I should say, and got to Chicago like around 1:30 in the afternoon. Got to the hotel like around 2. Now, here's the thing. It's funny because when we got there, we were hoping that we would get into our room a little bit early. But we were told by the front desk that we had to wait till like around 3 o'clock. Okay, no problem. So myself and the family started walking around G-Fest, you know, just to, you know, meet people and see some people. Of course, the first person I did meet while I was there, Goji Franklin, yes, fellow G YouTuber, awesome kid, awesome guy. I love that kid, I really do. He's an awesome human being. And as soon as I walked into the hotel, he's the first person I saw. And he ran up to me and he hugged me and we talked for a little bit. And once again, that guy is awesome. Can't wait to see him again next year. Hopefully I can get him on a live stream show, you know, real soon. But once again, Goji Franklin, such a nice guy. And then we started walking around G-Fest, like I said, and I came across another friend of mine that I'm friends with on the X Plus Collectors Facebook group, and I'll give a huge shout out and thank you to Vince Elliott. Oh my God. Now, mind you, he and we would talk on the Facebook group, you know, every now and then. Every time we would talk with each other or joke about something, we were always cordial. We were always nice to each other. But let me just tell you, this guy is even nicer and just awesome, more awesome in person. And I had a great conversation with him throughout the whole event, mind you. And once again, he's another guy that I'm hoping to get on one of my upcoming live stream shows. As a matter of fact, my next one that I'm planning to do is one devoted to the 70s films and 70s Godzilla films, collectibles, stuff like that. You've heard me talk about this on the channel before, and I'm trying to assemble the panel together as we speak. And I talked to Vince, would he be interested in coming aboard on that live stream? He said he would. So look to see him on that upcoming live stream show, which should be upcoming real soon. I would probably say the next 2 or 3 weeks, probably middle of August, something like that. But once again, Vince Elliott, awesome guy. Met up with John Ruffin once again. John Ruffin, he's just like you've heard him and you've seen his awesome work on my channel before. Go to Mechagodzilla.com and get some of his great awesome products. You know, his pictures where he assimilates, you know, figures and recreates like movie stills and posters, stuff like that. trust me, you already know how talented this guy is, and I'm so proud to call him my friend / my brother. Once again, John Ruffin, had a good time with him. As I'm talking with Vince, I'm talking with John, Sandra comes up to me and says, hey, we need to go back up to the desk to find out if the room is ready. At this point, it's 3 o'clock, right? And the people at the front desk said that the room will be ready like around 3 o'clock. Go back up to the desk, they're telling us that it's not ready. And they pretty much can't really tell us when it is ready. So we walk away. Now, mind you, my wife at this point is fuming mad because she's ready to get to the room, drop her bags, just unwind from the trip, because, being stuck in an airplane for like an hour and a half to 2 hours can be exhausting, right? So she was ready just to get everything in the room so she can at least settle down for like an hour, chill out, because it was hot up there, and get the kids settled in and blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, we walk back around the corner away from the desk, and we resume our conversation with Vince and with John. And we're talking, my wife is like, ugh. I'm like, they better have this room ready like real soon. Otherwise, the GMK is going to come out of me. And those who don't know, of course, GMK is my wife's favorite Godzilla film. GMK is my wife's favorite Godzilla design. Of course, it's my favorite film from the Millennium Series. And so while she's talking like this, right, she's getting a little bit animated. I love my wife, but she's getting a little bit animated. And she's like, they're going to see the GMK come out of me. My dorsal plates are going to pop out of my back. My tail is going to start smacking people upside the head. They're going to see GMK in full force if they don't get this room ready in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Mind you, while she's saying this, Shusuke Kaneko. Yes, Shusuke Kaneko was one of the guests at G-Fest. And of course, Shusuke Kaneko was a brilliant, talented film director who directed the Heisei Gamera film trilogy, and he directed GMK. Now, mind you, while my wife is talking like this and she's saying, I'm going to turn to GMK, he happens to walk by us, and he stops, and he hears my wife saying that, and he turns to her, and he kind of smirks, and then he walks off. I'm sitting there laughing because I'm seeing this, right? Sandra doesn't see Kaneko walk by her. And as he does this, he turns around and gives her like a little smirk, and then he walks off. And then I'm like, babe, that guy right there, he directed GMK. She was like, oh, cool. Okay, when's the room going to be ready? Oh, my God. Oh, man, that was a fun moment. But eventually the room did get ready, and we got our bags in and stuff like that. And that was pretty much it. And then came back downstairs, me and my grandson, and we registered with with the event, got our badges and whatnot. And then I went to the dealer's room and basically got my stuff that I did get for this year, as far as like my haul. Now, let's go into that right now before I go into further what I did at the event. Now, my haul, even though it's not as big as other people's hauls this year, like once again, Goji Franklin, once again, I mentioned him again. His haul is amazing. I think he has a video up of it on this channel right now, so please check it out. But, you got people that, that go there and buy so many different things, figures, collectibles, posters, comic books, whatever, model kits, Now, with me flying in, there's only so much that I could have gotten anyway. And since I kind of stay on top of the current X Plus releases, and since my focus is mostly X Plus and model kits, there wasn't really much anything there at G-Fest in the dealer's room that I really wanted. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of stuff in the dealer's room. Lots of stuff. Like I said, X Plus, Bandai, vintage stuff, posters, comic books, model kits. There's so many great things, different things at the dealer's room. But for me personally, I was like, since I'm flying in, I can't really buy too much. Now, I did get one figure. I did get the 25 centimeter Rodan 1964 figure from X Plus. It's a diamond reissue one. I got it from House of Monsters. And the reason why I got this, because I already have one, you know what I mean? But you know me, I'm into setups. I'm into movie setups. I'm into creating, putting random figures together to create setups from the movies. And the existing Rodan I have right now, I'm using for my Monster Zero setup. But this Rodan here, I'm using for my Ghidorah, the three-headed monster setup. So I'm going to pair this along with the X Plus 25 centimeter King Ghidorah 1964 that just came out with a 25 centimeter Martha Larva 1968. Even though she does look like the Martha Larva from 64. And I'm going to pair that with the upcoming 25cm Godzilla 1964 beast suit from Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and create that setup with this Rodan. Otherwise, you know, with just one Rodan, you know, I will flip-flop the Rodan between each setup, and that, which would mean that one setup would not be totally complete. So I decided to get another Rodan to have two separate setups involving this same Rodan. Now, mind you, the Rick version of the upcoming Godzilla 64 B suit figure did come with a flying version of Rodan and a mini version of the Martha Larva, but they're not in scale, honestly. They're not in scale with the figure. They're not in scale with Godzilla and King Ghidorah, honestly. And plus, the price that they were asking for was kind of a little bit steep. So I decided, you know what, I just go the cheaper route, buy me another Rodan, and just have a better, more accurate setup, which I did, and I'm glad I was able to get my hands on that Rodan. That's the only thing I got figure-wise at the event. But other than that, I got some picture books, I got a photo album book, and I got some still images courtesy of an awesome artist, and we'll go into that right now. Now, the first thing I did get was an photograph memory book of last year's G-Fest, courtesy of my great friend DavidArab.co. And as you can see, this is an awesome book with random pictures of, you know, of the stuff that happened last year. I'm in here a couple times, but mostly it's just pictures of people at the event and everything that happened last year. And this is an awesome book. So once again, thank you, DavidArab.co, for making this happen. Once again, I'm in this book a couple times, and I look so awesome. Why do you look like that, Leslie? Look at me. I'm just so happy to be there with Godzilla in my hand. We both look like we're about to kill people. Oh, well, you should see my driver's license photo. Not any better, folks. Once again, DavidArab.co, thank you very much for making this happen for me. I really do appreciate it. Once again, an awesome book. Check him out on Facebook, DavidArab.co. Maybe you can hit him up. Maybe I think he may have a couple extra handy. They're like maybe 20, 25 bucks. And if you were there at G-Fest last year, please get your hands on this. This is a really nice photo album book. High quality pictures, courtesy of a professional photographer in DavidArab.co. Please, you will not be disappointed with this. Now, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Joe Bianco. And you have seen his work on my channel before. A couple years ago, I believe at G-Fest 24, I believe. 24. He gave me a couple pictures of of Godzilla where he drew him as like a tree. You know what I'm saying? He incorporates some Godzilla features in like a tree to create like some great artwork. And he's one of the guys that's not only a good friend of mine, but he is also a great supporter of the channel. And he was in the Artist Alley. Also hit him up on Instagram at Kaiju Sketches. He has also done work for Nickelodeon. I think he works for Nickelodeon, I believe. But he's an awesome artist, you know. And every time I see him at G-Fest, he's always nice, he's kind, he's cordial. Just an awesome human being. And he's very supportive of the channel, highly appreciative of what we've done. And just one of the nicest guys that you ever meet. And he offered free prints for myself and for the rest of my family. So I want to say thank you so much, Joe Bianco. And thank you so much to your wonderful family, because I had a chance to meet them as well, his wife and his daughter. Great, awesome people. Thank you so much for being just great people and being a reminder of why this community is the best in the world. Thank you so much. And I want to show you what he gave me. This first picture that he gave me was a picture of Shin Godzilla, but he incorporated some Freddy Krueger stuff in there. Like he has the hat on top of Shin Godzilla's head. The body, at least like his torso here, is kind of like molded into like Freddy Krueger's iconic red and green sweater. And he has his iconic razor glove on one of Shin Godzilla's arms. This is awesome. This is awesome artwork at its best right here. Can you imagine that? A Freddy Krueger, Shin Godzilla. Oh my God. And Shin Godzilla is already scary enough the way he looks. Now imagine a Freddy Krueger version. A gigantic Freddy Krueger version of Shin Godzilla. Oh my God, this is awesome. So thank you so much, Joe. I really do appreciate it. Also, I don't have it here, but he also made one of a Godzilla figure, but he made it into a Michael Myers type of figure where it has Godzilla's body and his dorsal plates, and it shows him holding the knife. like Shin Godzilla is holding Freddy's razor glove here. And on top of Godzilla's head is the iconic Michael Myers mask. Once again, just great artwork. Great, brilliant, just innovative artwork right here. Yes, awesome guy. And I also got this image of the Burning Godzilla. Once again, yes, Burning Godzilla. A design which honestly has not been my most favorite. It took the S Plus Gigantic series, Burning Godzilla Gigantic, for me to come around on this design. But this is an awesome design right here that Joe has done. And as you can see closely into his burning patches here, once again, just a great image of the Burning Godzilla. But if you look closely here at his chest, he incorporated Destroyer's face into the burning patches of Godzilla's body. That is awesome. That is amazing. Once again, hit him up on Instagram /Kaiju Sketches and get you one of these. My God, this is so cool. The burning patches in Godzilla's chest is molded into Destroyer's face. Oh my God. This is awesome. Woo! Love that. And he also knows that my favorite Godzilla design is, of course, the 1964 Godzilla, and he made this for me. The 1964 Godzilla, and he made it into a Frankenstein hybrid, where you see like the Frankenstein, I guess, poles come out of his neck, and his arms and his chest and his hands are like sewn together like Frankenstein. So once again, this is great. This is a great image right here, you know, of Godzilla 1964 / Frankenstein hybrid, which is kind of ironic because at one time we almost could have gotten a Frankenstein versus Godzilla movie. You know, we almost got that, but we didn't. But once again, thank you, Joe, for making this happen. That's all the stuff that I got from Joe. Once again, thank you so much, Joe, and to your wonderful family. Had a great time with you. These images are just amazing, and you have done great things for me, and you have blessed me with your artwork. And I highly suggest anybody out there, if you're on Instagram, check him out at Kaiju Sketches. Joe Bianco or Giuseppe Bianco. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, sir. But this is awesome raw talent. And what's so cool about this, he is also a fan. You know what I'm saying? He's a fan that loves this stuff. He is passionate about this stuff, and he's willing to give back by giving us this awesome imagery right here. You know what I'm saying? And also, keep that name in mind, Joe Bianco, because he will be coming up again in a few seconds. But now let's move on to some other things that I did get. Now, I want to give you a huge shout out and thank you to William Fett from the Godzilla Files. You know, awesome guy. Please go to his YouTube channel and subscribe. William Fett from the Godzilla Files. And he was up on my last live stream show, and I'm hoping to get him on the next one, along with Vince. But in one of his videos, one of his past videos, he did a video dedicated to these Toho Special Effects authentic visual books. And at first I wasn't really into these books, you know what I'm saying? But after watching his video of it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go after some of these books. Now, for those of you who don't know what these books are, these books basically are like picture books of a particular kaiju and or character. And they show like, you know, backstage photos, you know, close-up photos of the kaiju itself. In a way, it's kind of like a book version of a Blu-ray. You know, because a Blu-ray, you know, offers the best video, best audio quality that you can get out of a movie, right? Well, this book is like a version of a Blu-ray because it offers the best pictures. Kind of like David F. Dopko's photo book that I mentioned earlier. You find the same type of quality in these books. You know what I mean? And they're available at the Godzilla store in Japan. So you can either get them there from the Godzilla store in Japan. You have to go through a middleman to get them here from Japan, you know. Or you can try eBay, you know, and make that your last resort. Or you can go to G-Fest like I did and find a whole bunch of these books, which I did. And I end up raking in 8 books. 8 books of some of my most favorite kaiju that I have ever loved and ever admired. You know what I mean? So let's go into the first book. And Godzilla fan freaks, Eric Grondin, I hope you're watching. But yes, my first book that I got is Volume 27, dedicated to Titanosaurus, based off his appearance in his one and only film, Terror of Mechagodzilla. Once again, Eric Grondin, because Eric Grondin, I'm saying this because Eric Grondin from Godzilla Fan Freaks, also go to his channel and give him a sub as well. Titanosaurus is his most favorite kaiju of all time, even more so than Godzilla. Of course, he's a Godzilla fan, but through and through, Titanosaurus is his most favorite kaiju, and he's one of my most favorite kaiju too. So I had to have this book of Titanosaurus, you know. Once again, Volume 27, Titanosaurus, such an awesome book where you get backstage photos and like up close and personal photos of the kaiju itself, him alongside Mechagodzilla and Godzilla. Oh my God, such an awesome book, Titanosaurus. And of course, volume number 28. Oh, you already know this about me. Sanda versus Gyra, Frankenstein's monster Sanda versus Gyra, also known as the War of the Gargantuas. Yes, you know me. You know I'm a huge Gargantua fan, so you know I had to have this book. Oh my God. Look at that. This is so amazing. Oh my God. I'm so excited. All right, let's go into the next book. Okay, based off his appearance in Invasion of the Astro Monster, also known as Monster Zero, also known as Godzilla's Monster Zero. We're at the volume 26 with the Godzilla 1965 book. Once again, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero is one of my most favorite Godzilla films of all time, and that's one of the reasons why I had to have this book as well. It has photos of Godzilla, Rodan, some backstage shots of the miniature work that they did, you know, when they pulled Godzilla out of the lake and they transport him and Rodan into outer space. Once again, such a great book, Godzilla 1965, volume number 26. And of course, volume number 11, of course, give a huge shout out to my wife. I mentioned this earlier, but her favorite Godzilla, Godzilla 2001, or the GMK Godzilla, once again, is funny because I bought her this book, right? And then I would just find just buying that book and then just like borrowing it every now and then, just look at the book and stuff like that. But since she's a collector in her own right, and we kind of like have our own individual type stuff, after seeing how many great photos of the GMK Godzilla is in this book, I had to track another one down and buy one for myself. So yeah, we got two GMK Godzilla picture books in this household. And trust me, once you get a peek of what's inside this book, you will get one too, especially if you're a GMK fan. So once again, GMK Godzilla 2001, volume number 11. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to my brother from another mother, Brutezilla. Once again, you're going to hear his name coming up in a few seconds soon also. But his favorite Godzilla from his favorite Godzilla film, Godzilla 1984, or The Return of Godzilla, or Godzilla 1985. This is volume 5. Yes, yes, yes. Once again, Godzilla 1984 is one of my most favorite Godzilla designs. You know, one of the earliest Godzilla films I saw when I was growing up. So this was a no-brainer for me to get this book. Once again, this is an awesome book. Really is. All right, we get down to the wire because we got like 3 more books to go. Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to John Ruffin and Phil the Kaiju King, because I know, at least for Phil the Kaiju King, I also give him a sub on his YouTube channel as well, Phil the Kaiju King. He mentioned this on our last live stream, that his favorite Godzilla film of all time is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. And I know that John Ruffin, even though his favorite film is Shin Godzilla, I know his most favorite Showa film of all time is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974. And of course, my favorite version of Mechagodzilla is from the Showa period, preferably 75, but I love 74 as well, which is why I had to have this book, Mechagodzilla 1974, Volume 7. Once again, great pictures of the robot or the cyborg. You know, you have a couple pictures of Godzilla in here. I think King Caesar is in here. Just an awesome book. If you're a Mechagodzilla fan, especially of the Showa one, get your hands on this book. You will not be disappointed. All right, now we're going to the Millennium Series with volume number 21 with Godzilla 1999. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a huge fan of this design. You know, the movie is okay. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's not one of my favorites. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but it's like one of the middle of the road films for me. I don't necessarily love it, but I don't necessarily hate it. I like it. But the design I love. I absolutely love this design of Godzilla 1999/2000, which is why I had get my hands on this book. Volume number 21, Godzilla 1999. Yes, yes, yes. And the final book, of course, my favorite villain of all time in the Godzilla film franchise. We already talked about one favorite villain in the whole tokusatsu genre in Gara earlier, but you already know my favorite villain of all time in the Godzilla film franchise. I want to give a huge shout out to Kenton Eatonfield. I met him at G-Fest, and we kind of feel the same way about this. But King Ghidorah, 1964, yes, Volume 20. In my opinion, the best version of King Ghidorah ever. The best he has ever looked, the best film that he was there that he was in. And of course I had to have this book of my most favorite Godzilla villain of all time. Volume 20, King Ghidorah, 1964. And that's pretty much all the books that I was able to get. You know, there are a couple out there that I'm not really too fond of, that I know I'm not going to get, like, you know, I like Shin Godzilla. I'm not really interested in that. You know, but there are a couple more that I am interested in. I may try to track down, like the one of the 1962 Godzilla. I want to get that. The one of Jet Jaguar. I want to get that. And of course, if they happen to make a Godzilla 1964, you already know I'm there with that. But as far as like what I wanted to accomplish and what I wanted to get, these books have really done me well. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to William Fett from the Godzilla Files for steering me in this direction. I really do appreciate it. So that pretty much is my haul. Oh, one last thing. I got this awesome Kaiju Cast shirt. Yes, from the Kaiju Cast. Yes, the best podcast dedicated to Godzilla and all his rubber-suited foes. Courtesy of my great friend, Kyle Yount, and his awesome, wonderful co-host that was there at the show, Gretchen. Thank you so much for this shirt. I really do appreciate it. And once again, you're gonna hear Kyle Yount's name coming up in a few seconds, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much my haul. The picture books, the still images from Joe Bianco, David Erdotko's picture book, and of course the 25cm S Plus diamond reissue of Rodan 1964. That's my haul. All right, so now let's go into what I did on Saturday. Cause pretty much Friday I really didn't do anything else after I got these books and stuff. Of course, I went out to dinner with my family and walked around the event some more. That was pretty much it. Now the next day, first thing Saturday morning, we had our Summit Kaiju panel. This is my third year hosting this event. Thanks to Brainchild, Summit Kaiju's Brainchild, also my great friend Jeremy Souls. And let me just say, let me give you a shout out and thank you to him. Now, you've heard me say, yes, Listen Chambers, Kaiju Reviews on behalf of Summit Kaiju. For those who don't know, Summit Kaiju is basically like a network that Jeremy and I and Howard Ruiz, also a great friend of mine and a great member of Summit Kaiju, as well as Gojira 851. The idea of Summit Kaiju is to bring different Kaiju fans and collectors together and just to have a good time. Basically, it's like a network, you know what I mean? Where you can come in with your own opinion, your own perspective. It doesn't matter if it's unpopular or not, you know, just have a different perspective and a different mindset come together, and we all can just enjoy this hobby. That's the basic gist of Summit Kaiju. That's the purpose of Summit Kaiju, for different people from all walks of life that love this stuff to come together and just have a good time and just fellowship with each other, whether we agree on things or not. And I've been a supporter of Summit Kaiju since day one. And for the past few years, Summit Kaiju has had a panel at G-Fest. Now, the first two times we have had like a photo contest to coincide with the panel leading up to G-Fest, where you would have like a picture, or you would make a picture and submit it into a contest where you could win prizes. And the grand prize for the last 2 years, I think the first year was a S Plus Gigantic Series Shin Godzilla, and the year after that was the S Plus Gigantic Series Godzilla 1964. Which is a great contest, mind you. But this year, we didn't really do a contest. This year, in my opinion, was a lot more special. Because at that particular panel with myself, John Ruffin, Joe Bianco, and Jeremy Souls, we actually unveiled an upcoming X Plus figure, a new X Plus figure. And what we unveiled, now mind you, we saw hints of this at like a Shanghai show over in Shanghai overseas, like a few days prior to G-Fest, where we saw an unpainted prototype version of an upcoming Kong figure, a different Kong figure based off his appearance from Kong Skull Island, where he's in a roaring fighting pose. But we actually unveiled that figure at that panel at G-Fest, fully painted in all its glory, along with some other Kong pieces like the original Kong Skull Island figure with the helicopter and the base, and a couple devil reels of Kong and one of the giant skull crawlers. We had that there at the panel, showcasing these products, especially the new Kong, which will be up for. Should be coming out, from what I understand, it should be coming out in December. So please get your hands on that figure if you can. Once that thing pops up for pre-order, please get your hands on that figure. Now, mind you, it is similar to the already existing Kong, but once again, Kong figures don't come out too often. Kong is like in this gray area. You know what I mean? I don't care if it is the old one or the new one, but in my opinion, whenever a Kong figure does come up or come out from X Plus, you need to get it. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely getting this one. So it was an honor to be a part of that panel and ask my friends questions about X Plus and just giving so much praise and attention to this upcoming new version of Kong. Now, mind you, while I was there, mostly when I do these events, when I'm hosting, when I do my Steve Harvey or whatever you want to call it, I have plenty of time to prepare. And I was prepared somewhat for this panel. But I got hit with the news like that day before, that something that I've been asking for a long time finally came to fruition, and it was a dream come true for me personally. I've been asking for the longest time that G Okamoto will hopefully make an appearance and make his way over to G-Fest. Now I heard rumblings and rumors that there was a possibility that could happen, but I didn't put much faith into it because I didn't know for sure that he was going to show up, and I didn't want to, put all my eggs into the basket of, yeah, he's going to show up, and then if he wouldn't show up, I would get disappointed. Not at him, but, I would be so excited to want to see him and talk with him and ask him questions and just have some type of interaction with him on some level, and have that snatched away from me. That's why I didn't really put too much stock into those rumors. But I got confirmation that he was there. And he happened to show up there at the panel along with Kazuma Matsubaru. And he also works from S Plus. Kyle Young did an interview with them a few years ago, around the time when the GMK Godzilla Gigantic first came out. The first GMK Gigantic came out. Check it out. It's in the archives. It's in the archives of the Kaiju Cast YouTube channel. But Kyle went to Japan and talked with them, and those are the same two guys that were there at G-Fest, and they were front and center in the front row as I'm doing this event. Now, mind you, once I found out that he was there, I was so nervous. Normally, I have it together in my mind mentally. I'm pretty much cool and well, and I collect myself very well, I think. But I was just a bag of nerves at that point because I'm just so nervous. I'm happy to see him there, because he's right there. He's not, thousands and thousands of miles away. He is right there in front of me as I'm talking. I'm emceeing the event. So that was an awesome thing. That was an awesome experience to have him there. Once again, during the panel, we talked about X Plus. We talked about Kong. We talked about so many different things. We basically just praised and just glorified X Plus. And we appreciate G and Matsuburo-san for what they have done, how they have made so many different people happy. So that panel was, in a way, to showcase the upcoming version of Kong, to give praise to the old Kongs, to give praise to X Plus, and to give praise and thank you to G and Matsuburo-san for making it to G-Fest. So that was an awesome experience right there. And once again, more on G later on. But then after that, I walked around the event, and normally I would hit up a couple of panels, but this year, honestly, and with all due respect to the people that were there, I didn't really find too many of the panels really interesting. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there were interesting panels there for sure, but not too many where I wanted to just walk in and sit there for like an hour. I had more enjoyment, honestly, you know, talking with fellow Godzilla fans and other people walking in dealer's room and just looking at all the great stuff, taking pictures, and you know, just having a good time, fellowship with other people and other fans. And that's one of the main selling points that I say about G-Fest anyway. Even if you have limited money and, you know, if you don't have enough money to go into the dealer's room to get what you want and blah, 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 at least go to see other people that you can talk with and fellowship with, you know. People that you talk with online through social media are more often than not are there at the event. And as I mentioned earlier with Vince Elliott and John Ruffin, these people, if they're nice to you online, more likely they'll be the same way when you meet them. And they are awesome people. We are all, it's just a great community. You know what I mean? And to finally meet these people in person is an awesome experience, you know? So once again, had a good time walking around the last few hours of the show that day on Saturday, talking with people, having a good time with people. And that's pretty much it as far as like the show of G-Fest on that Saturday. Now, I want to give you a shout out and thank you to Godzilla, because later on I was able to do an interview with him. Yes, he conducted an interview with me. He was asking me questions and blah, blah, blah. I had a great time doing that. And I think it should be up on his channel real soon. So please check it out when he does get that up and running. So I had a great time, you know, talking with him and had an interview with him, which was kind of mind-blowing for me, because I've never really been interviewed before. I mean, I'm sure I have, but the fact that he wanted to do that, and I really just, once again, I'm very appreciative and humble, and I'm happy to have done that. So thank you very much, Godzilla. I really do appreciate it. So after that, went out to dinner with Jeremy Souls and my family. Had a great time that Saturday night. Then that was pretty much it with Saturday. Now on Sunday is pretty much the last day of the event, and it's kind of a somber day. It's a fun day, but it's somber because, you know, it's a sad day, because, you know, it's the last day of the event. You know, some of the friends that you know may like leave early and stuff like that. I want to give you shout out to Eric Henry. I met him for the first time. Of course, Eric Henry, of course, like myself, is a huge Gamera fan, and he and I, like Vince Elliott, is a great friend of mine. And I've had him on the show at least once, and I'm hoping to have him on the show another time, especially when we talk about Gamera on a live stream or something like that. But it was finally good and great to finally meet him for the first time. Mind you, we talked. We have traded a couple texts here and there and messages on Facebook. But it was good and great to finally meet him one-on-one. Such a great guy. Once again, I love that dude. I love you, Eric. But Sunday, once again, it was the last day of the event, and once again, some people were already starting to filter out and getting on planes and going home, but the event was still going on. Now, mind you, I had one more event that I was part of on that Sunday. And let me back up by saying this. You probably have seen me wear a shirt called Collect All Monsters on it. You know, it's a gray shirt with Collect All Monsters on it. And I said at one time that I would go into detail what that actually meant. And I think now's as good a time as ever. Collect All Monsters is going to be an upcoming live monthly live stream show courtesy of the Kaiju Cast, where myself, the Kaiju Cast controller, or the head guy of the Kaiju Cast, Kyle Yount, Biolante's favorite homegirl and the Godzilla 1989's #1 fan, Christine Chapin. Of course, MyKaiju.com, John Ruffin. And of course, photographer extraordinaire that I mentioned earlier with the photo book and many other great photographic things that he has done in the past, as well as model kit, build up, and artistry, DavidAir.co. And all 5 of us are going to come together and have like a monthly live stream show. Basically, Kyle is he's still having the Kaiju Cast, but I think he's moving on from like the Kaiju discussions. Please subscribe to the Kaiju Cast. It is an awesome and informative and highly fun and insanely entertaining podcast dedicated to Godzilla. You know what I mean? And he has had so many great past episodes dedicated to Kaiju discussions, just awesome commentaries. You know, movie reviews. You know. collectible commentary, stuff like that. Such an awesome podcast, the Kaiju Cast. And since he's kind of like moving away from the Kaiju discussions, I'm sure he'll probably go back to them every now and then. But he's starting to branch off to do other things to expand the Kaiju Cast name and to expand the Kaiju Cast content and programming. And this is one of his projects that he's trying to do, collect all monsters. And we're like in the process of getting that up and running. And as soon as I get more info when the new show will be and on what day it's going to be, because he's hoping to have a monthly show on a specific date on each month. And once we get all this stuff finalized, I will definitely let you know. So basically we had our original episode at G-Fest, I guess it was our pilot episode, if you will. And during that panel, we were able to talk with, I think, Yuji from M1 Toys, which was an awesome interview. Now, mind you, these panels, they only run for like 50 minutes to an hour. They mostly want you done at the 50-minute mark. So in those 10 minutes, prior to the start of that hour, the other team that's behind you can come in and start getting set up. So they normally want to have you done by like the 50-minute mark, you know what I mean? Now, Kyle originally wanted to have like half of the panel devoted to the M1 people, and the other half was going to be devoted to us, so we can talk about us and introduce y'all to us. That way y'all can get invested into us, and we can talk about more about what the show and talk about what you're in store for once the show gets up and running. But we were not able to get to that part, because the M1 stuff was just so amazing and so informative and very entertaining that it took up pretty much the entire panel. So at a later date, we will come back and have our first episode where you get to know myself, Christine, Kyle, David, and John. And then from there, we'll go into the Collect All Monsters monthly live stream show. It should be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun. I see nothing but great things with this endeavor. And I want to thank Kyle Yount for selecting me for this project. This project to me is a very, very important one. For me, I look at this like if I was a reporter in my hometown and NBC News calls me and said, hey, we want you to be a part of our team. That's how I'm looking at this endeavor. You know what I mean? It just shows that, our hard work has paid off, and the fact that I was chosen by one of the biggest pillars in our community in Kyle Yount, is a blessing and an honor. And I'm so humble to be a part of this project. And I hope you're watching Kyle Yount, but I want to say this to you, sir. Thank you very much, and I will not let you down. Now, for those of y'all that are wondering, what does that mean for Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews? Will that have an effect on content flowing on this channel? And the answer to that question is nothing. It will have no effect. You know what I'm saying? Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews will still be going on. Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews is independent of my duties on Collect All Monsters. It's just another opportunity to see my fat face, honestly. But Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews will still be going on, will still be ongoing. I got lots of stuff to talk about. I got lots of stuff to cover figure-wise. I got lots of live stream ideas to get off the ground. So trust me, content is not stopping on Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews, but you get another opportunity to see me provide my input on another platform, on another show, which will be Collect All Monsters. Once again, once I get more info and details and iron out the details with the show and with my fellow co-hosts, I will definitely come back here and give you all the info in the 411 on what you can expect on when the first show is going to be. What are we going to talk about topic-wise and stuff like that? Because I want all of y'all to support this new show. Please support this new show. If you support me, please support this new show of Collect All Monsters. Please support my fellow co-hosts in John, David, Colin, Christine. It should be a fun time. It should be a fun endeavor. I think when all of us come together and the passion that we have, the fact that we love this stuff, we're not in this for monetary reasons. We're not in this to please other people. We're in this because we love this guy. We love Godzilla. We love Gamma. We love Ultraman. We're in this for the right reasons. And I think because of that, the show will be a highly successful one. So that was pretty much it with my duties with the panel on Sunday. Then after that, went out to dinner with my family, once again, our last dinner, because we flew out the next day. And every night at G Fest, they have like a patio there at the hotel, right? And since normally the events of G Fest normally end at least by like Friday, Saturday, they end like around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, whatever. Around 9 o'clock and to like maybe 11 or 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, we all gravitate to the patio. We all congregate there to the patio and just sit back and relax and talk. It's like a breeze going through Chicago. It's like fun summertime weather. It's not blistering hot at that time of hour at night, so you're able to go out into the patio and just talk with fellow friends and just have a good time, So that last night, I was able to talk with some friends, and I talked with G, because G was there too, Masaburo-san, Jeremy Souls, I talked to a whole bunch of different people. Felipe Sanchez and his beautiful wife Janelle, had a great time with them. Greg Betters, had a great time with them. And that was it was a fun time, but also once again it was sad because I knew it was the last day and the last thing that I would do before I left, because once I left that morning, I really didn't see anybody, before I left, And afterwards, the next day, flew back home and got back on the grind again. So that's pretty much my experiences with G-Fest. G-Fest 26, 2019. Had a great time there. Once again, I think this ranks like a close second as far as like my best experiences at G-Fest this year, or ever that I've ever had. Excuse me. I think my first experience was my best experience, because there's nothing like your first experience at G-Fest, right? Everett Gronder from Godzilla Fan Freaks and many other people say, once you go, you will never stop going. And I highly agree with that. But I also feel like, because I had such a fun time my first time, my wife and I went there, with just us. I had such a fun time, and I had no idea I would have that much fun there. So nothing can really top that. But I have to say, this experience comes at a close second, or I would say a 1.5. I had such a great time and such fun with the panels, meeting with people, like I said, meet Vince Elliott for the first time, meeting Eric Heron for the first time, hanging out with Godzilla and John Ruffin, and David Aradopko, John Bumpus, ran to Mr. Fresh Ronald himself, Richard Iso, had a great conversation once again with Kyle Yount, as well as his co-host Gretchen, Kenton Edenfield. I'm sorry if I missed your name or whatever. Paul Plutzker from the S Plus Collectors Facebook group. I had so many great moments, and I had a great time there at the event. But I have to say, meeting G Okamoto from X Plus and Matsuburo-san was so amazing. Oh, also, I did happen to score an interview with G. Yes, I did. I forgot to mention that. Man, what the heck was I thinking? But I did manage to score an interview with G and Matsuburo-san, which will be on an upcoming episode of Collect All Monsters. So, if anything else, if you don't want to tune in for anything else, tune in for that. And I don't want to discuss what I talked about with G during the interview. Like I said, wait for that upcoming episode of Collect All Monsters, and you'll see the interview in its entirety. But I will say this: considering what he and I talked about, if you're an X Plus fan and X Plus collector, we're in for some good stuff. Yes. And that's all I'm going to say about that. You know what I mean? But once again, the highlight of this trip was meeting G and meet Matsuburo-san. Because once again, I've been saying for the longest time, we need G at G-Fest. We need G at G-Fest. We need G at G-Fest. And every now and then, G and I would talk privately. Now, mind you, we don't talk like every single day or every single week. He has like contacted me on my birthday privately, which is awesome, And every time we would talk, I would always float the idea to him like, hey, if you can make it to G-Fest, I think that would be a good idea. That would be a great thing. And the fact that he finally made it along with Matsuburo-san was really amazing. And before I left, he told me, he shook my hand, and he hugged me, as a matter of fact. He told me that he appreciated what I've done, or what we have done here on Lizard Chambers Kaiju Reviews. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the best compliment that pretty much anybody could ever give me. I really do appreciate that. The fact that somebody that I basically look up to, that I admire, that I wanted so badly to meet. He's kind of like a hero. I look at him no different than I look at the special guests at G-Fest this year. Akira Takarada, Shusuke Kaneko, you know what I mean? I look at him on that level of special guests. And G has said that he wants to come back. So, all my S Plus collectors out there, all my X Plus Godzilla YouTubers out there, let's make something happen for G next year for G-Fest. All right? For those who didn't make it this year, please try and make it next year, especially if G does come back. I want to do something special for him. Maybe we can do a panel with him. Maybe us G YouTubers or X Plus fans can get together and do an interview or panel with him. And this is something that Brutalzilla brought up. Maybe if G does come back and if he does come back more frequently, just like they have like these some Wonder Festival shows, X Plus figure exclusives, maybe we can have G-Fest X Plus figure exclusives. You know what I mean? The possibilities are endless, especially with him coming back and the fact that he wants to come back. And I'm sure he will be welcomed with open arms as he was this past weekend, or the week and a half ago, I should say. But the fact that he wants to come back and the fact that he was so appreciative and happy and just overjoyed at how many people came up to him and just shook his hand and just told him how much they appreciate what he's done and that they're so looking forward to on what he will do in the future. And every time I saw him, he was just happy, he was jovial, he was fun, he was carefree. Now, mind you, I've heard stories from people that already met him, like Kyle and Rich and John Bumpus and David Aradocco, saying that he's an awesome guy. I have to tell you, they were right. They were 100% right, and even more so. He is even more than that. He is more fun, highly enjoyable, highly entertaining, highly appreciative for what us YouTubers and fans have done, in glorifying his products and praising his products. He has basically been very, very receptive and very appreciative for what we've done, and I couldn't ask for a better experience meeting him. So once again, thank you, G Okamoto. Thank you, Monster Burrow-san, for coming to G-Fest. We've had a great time seeing you there and having you there. So speaking on behalf of everybody, whether you're an X Plus fan, collector, or whatever, we implore you and we hope that you come back next year. And if you do come back, I don't care if I have to do it by myself. I'm going to plan something special for you. I don't care. I don't know what it is, but I think if we get enough people involved, we can have something special for you and have an even better time next year's at G-Fest. All right, so that pretty much concludes my thoughts and my chronicles of what I did at G-Fest 26, 2019 this year. Once again, I had a great time. I'm so looking forward to next year. People were such on a high, not only because of G being there and all the great guests there, Takarada and Kaneko, whatever, but of course King of the Monsters came out like a couple months ago and people were still riding high on that wave. And next year, don't forget, we got a new Godzilla film coming out from the MonsterVerse, Godzilla vs. Kong. And, it's going to be an awesome time next year for G-Fest as well. Hopefully by then we may get some news on if Toho will start making Godzilla films or get any news about that. Or we may get news if Legendary will continue the MonsterVerse. All I'm saying is that right now it couldn't be a better time, especially in modern day times, to be a Godzilla fan, to be a Godzilla figure collector, to be a Godzilla blogger or YouTube content provider. We're just here to have a good time and celebrate this awesome monster that has shaped our childhoods for the better. You know what I mean? And trust me, if you're not able to make it to G-Fest, the time is now. Start saving now. And yes, I understand that it's kind of hard to save money, especially in this hobby, you know what I mean? But trust me, save a little bit here and there. Now, of course, if something, emergency-wise comes up, of course you got to do what you have to do. But I'm telling you right now, based on the fun that I had at G-Fest and the fact that G Okamoto has expressed his interest to come back, start saving a little bit there so that we can see you there next year at G-Fest, and that way we can have an even better time than what we did this year. But then again, it's going to be kind of hard to top this year. But I'm so looking forward to see if we do top it next year. I think we will, especially with the new film coming out, and hopefully with G coming next year, whatever else they may have planned for the show next year. Once again, it's a wonderful and awesome and great time to be a Godzilla fan. And once again, Collect All Monsters coming real soon. I will give you more info and details once I get it. Once again, Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews will still be pushing forward. So be on the lookout for lots and great content. As a matter of fact, stay tuned for the end of this review, and you will see, not review, my video, I should say, and you will see what will be coming up next on Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. But lots of stuff is coming here on the channel. Once again, got lots of figure reviews in the works, you know, whatever. And also these books that I talked about earlier. Now, mind you, I got 8 books, and now I don't intend on making a video dedicated to all 8 books at one time. I'm gonna do it in blocks, right? So I'm gonna do like 2 at a time. So I may do like the King Ghidorah book and the Santa vs. Gyra book in one block. I may do the 1999 Godzilla and the GMK Godzilla in another block. And I'll showcase certain pictures from the book, not the whole book, but I'm gonna showcase certain pictures to sell you on why you should get these books, you know, whatever. And then we'll go from there. But once again, these books reviews are coming. The books reviews are coming. Figure reviews are coming. Once again, lots of stuff is coming here on Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. And once again, thank y'all so much for making it here and for making this channel for what it is today. And like I said, I got so much admiration and praise from people at G-Fest, and that's just astonishing to me. And that's just clarification that we have worked hard to make this what it is today, and the work has paid off. Trust me, I saw that firsthand. All right, I'm done talking. You know, I know I've been keeping y'all here for like a long time. But once again, lots of stuff is coming here on the channel. Stay tuned for Collect All Monsters, and let's have a good time being a Godzilla fan with all the stuff coming up, with a new film coming up, these new figures coming out. Once again, it's the best time to be a Godzilla fan, and don't let anybody else tell you differently. All right? So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all again on this figure and move review. All right? Y'all take it easy.